So today I'm going to teach you all how to cast a spinning reel like a pro. There's a lot of mistakes that people make as well, and we'll talk about some of those too. Occasionally I get guys on my guided fishing trips who tell me that they prefer a bait caster because of its casting accuracy. They feel like they're a lot more accurate with a bait caster. It took me a long time with guiding to realize why it is that guys feel like they're more accurate with the bait caster, or they say that they're more accurate with a bait caster. And I've realized that is because with a bait caster, when you cast, you can slow that spool down as you near your target, or if you're overshooting your target, you can slow it down, get it to stop where you want it to stop. And guys don't feel like they have that same control with a spinning reel. And but what they don't realize is that you actually can do that same thing that you do with a bait caster, where you just slow down that line as it goes out. And if you watch any of like the top level tournaments and stuff like that, any of the guys who are very well known for using a spinning reel, they all do this same thing. All of us use this same trick, but none of us actually realize what we're doing. We all just do it instinctively. None of us were taught it by anybody. We all just kind of naturally do it. We just started doing it just out of an effort to try and get our cast to go where we wanted to go. I've literally never seen a YouTube video talking about this. The only reason that I figured this out is from guiding full time and being able to watch people cast and just putting those pieces together. So, having said that, let's talk about it. First, I want to teach you guys how to correctly hold your spinning reel. Okay. First of all, your reel goes down below your rod, okay? If you feel the need to have it up above your rod, that just simply means that you want the handle on the right-hand side. So if you feel the need to hold your reel on the top side, you need to go ahead and you just need to switch that handle over to the right-hand side. Next thing you want to do is, this is called the arm right here, okay? This little section right here, that's called the arm. You're always going to hold the arm between your pinky and your ring finger, just like that, okay? Not between those two fingers, not between those two fingers, between your pinky and your ring finger, just like that. Always, 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 while you're fishing, while you're casting, all of the above, okay? What that does is it positions the line right next to your index finger, right there, where you can let the line rest on your index finger, okay? And now if your line is ever like down at the bottom, just take your hand, your left hand, and twist that bail until it's up there next to your finger. If you try, a common mistake guys make is they try to, if it's down here, they try to reel to get it up there, and that reel moves real fast, and all of a sudden you overshoot it, and your bait is smashed up at your rod tip, okay? So what you're gonna do, if it's ever down here, just turn that until it's right next to your finger, okay? Don't try to use the reel handle to turn that to get it next to your finger. The other thing that positioning this arm between your pinky and your ring finger does is, if you notice, it centers all of the weight of the reel directly underneath of my hand. If you hold your rod back here, all that weight is out front, and you don't have nearly as much control over your rod while you're fishing and while you're casting and so forth. So hold it right there, pinky and ring finger, okay? Now I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna turn that till it's right next to my finger, okay? I'm gonna let the line rest on my finger, okay? Just rest on the tip of my finger like that. A common mistake that people make is they put the line in that little crease of their finger, okay? You should have the line just resting on this tip section of your fingertip, okay? Resting just kind of right in the middle right there, okay? And what that does, if you stick it in the crease of your finger, it has a tendency when you cast, that line is going to catch on your finger, and you'll have that bait slam down at the water every once in a while. But if you have it just on the tip of your finger, not just in that section right there, right in the middle of the tip, okay, it's going to make a smooth cast every time, okay? So here we go. Line rest on your finger, okay? Don't smash it up against your rod. Just let it rest on your fingertip, okay? Then what I'm gonna do, this big thick wire thing right here, that's called your bail. You're gonna open your bail, okay? Now that your bail is open, that allows the line to come freely off the spool like that, okay? So So we're going to have the line rest on our finger. We're going to open the bail, okay? Left hand is going to come down to the butt of the rod. This is the butt of the rod, down to that end section right there, okay? Left hand comes down on the butt of the rod, and you're going to come back, and you're going to throw it. And when your rod is at about a 45-degree angle or so, you're going to release. Just point with your finger to release. Don't let go with your whole hand. Just point with your finger to release the line, okay? Now, here's the trick that's going to allow you to control the length of your cast while you're throwing it out there, all right? What I'm going to do, and you'll see this, like I said, almost every pro fisherman that you see that is well known for throwing a spinning reel, they all do this, okay? What I'm going to do, when I throw it out, my left hand is immediately going to come off of that butt of the rod, and it's going to hover over the spool, okay? And try and get a good angle on it. I'm going to just let my hand kind of rest against the bottom of the spool. I'm going to have an open hand for the most part, and I'm just going to go like this, okay? What that does is it allows me to just add a little bit of pressure to the line as it goes out against the spool to kind of feather it a little bit in order to slow it down as it goes out if I'm overshooting it. A big mistake that people make when they cast, if they feel like they're shooting it too far, they'll either they'll hurry and try to reel their reel handle to snap the bail shut, and when they do that, it flings that bait back at you. Doesn't give it that same feathering effect, you know, to get it to slowly stop where you want it to. The other thing that people do is they try to just grab the spool real hard, or they just try to grab the line and stop it that way, okay? And any of those above methods, you know, you just very suddenly stop that bait and it'll spring back toward you, and you're not going to get the accuracy. But the accuracy comes, you'll notice, after every time that I cast, my left hand immediately comes down and feathers that spool. There you go, just like that, okay? So my left hand goes against that bottom of the spool, and I can just lightly feather it to stop it, okay? I'm not just suddenly stopping it, I'm just giving it this light feathering effect that allows me to stop it. Another common mistake that people make with a spinning reel, and I got to thank Brian Latimer for one of his videos on this. I've always just kind of instinctively done this, as you know. So I put my hand right here. As my hand's right there, my hand's already right there next to the bail. So I just close the bail by hand. I've just always closed the bail by hand. But I've learned that you know, a lot of guys, they just want to start reeling. You know, they just close their bail like that. They just start reeling. You actually don't want to do that. What that does is it puts a half twist in your line every time you do that. So after, you know, 2-3 hours of fishing, you go to cast, your line blows up, it's all twisted up and gnarly, and you've made a mess, okay? So always, always, always close that bail by hand. Now, one other thing that you want to do is you always want to follow through on your cast. So I mentioned releasing your line when you're at about a 45-degree angle. If you stop your rod right there, a lot of times that causes your bait to have a downward trajectory. And so even though I'm going to release with my finger right there, I want to follow through with my cast. So I'm going to release there, but I want to end up pointing where I want my bait to land. This is true for whether you're casting a spinning reel or a bait casting rod, either way. Use these tricks and you're going to be casting your spinning reel like a pro in no time.